of the last poem which we were talking about. Has anybody done any writing work? किसी ने भी एक लाइन एक्सप्लेनेशन लिखा है? Yes, no. I'm not going to call out anybody's names. This was for everybody, batch 1 and batch 2. मैंने क्या कहा था, एक लाइन दे करके any line from the poetry, write down explanation. Start with writing one line, explain one line. Only then you will be able to explain other lines. Start with the first line, start with the topic sentence. What is the topic? Any poetry there is a topic about every poetry, any poetry. Take the topic and write whatever you think. Whatever is taught, जो बताया जा रहा है या जो सिखाया गया है, और आपका interpretation क्या है? What do you think about the topic sentence? The topic, for example, अभी जो we were doing, slumbered in my spirit sea, right? Explain this line according to आप क्या सोचते हैं, according to your thinking, according to what you feel you should write about slumbered in my spirit sea. It can happen to anyone. किसी के लिए कभी ना कभी, हर समय एक समान नहीं होता है, तो कहीं आप बहुत स्ट्रेस्ड आउट होते हैं तो सिर्फ आप एक सोचते, एक चीज के बारे में सोचते हैं और बाकी चीज ब्लॉक्ड आउट हो जाता है. Slumbered in my spirit still can happen to you. Like this is a lockdown. Lockdown में क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम्स है? कोई ऐसी चीज होगी जो बस उसी पर आप सोच रहे होंगे, इवेंट टू कभी खत्म होगा, और इसी वन ट्रैक पे आप बैठे हुए हैं. This COVID-19, this corona, everybody is thinking about just one thing. बाकी सारे चीज शेल्ड हो गया है, बाकी सारी चीज अभी असाइड हो गया है, and everybody is thinking, the whole country, the whole world, we are all thinking about just one problem. कब इससे हम लोग छुटकारा पाएंगे, कब निजात मिलेगी, और when will we be free from this COVID-19? कहर भी कह सकते हैं, आपदा कह सकते हैं, this viral calamity जो कि हो रहा है, and first very grave, serious, very serious, very very grave. तो दूसरी तरफ दिमाग नहीं जाएगा, बाकी सारी चीज स्थगित हो जाती है जब when everything else is put aside and your mind is one track. This is a situation where you can also say a slumber in my spirit sea. Now what is this slumber? You are so much lost because of you are afraid of whatever is happening to everyone. So one track mind में आप दूसरी कोई बात आप नहीं सोच रहे हैं. Similarly, a slumber in my spirit sea, it was on a not on a frightful moment. एक डर वाली situation नहीं थी वर्ड्सवर्थ के लिए ये बहुत happy moment था, and this was the time he had enjoyed the most. वो कहीं एकदम से lost हो गए हैं और उनको आसपास में क्या हो रहा है, whatever is happening around him, he is not really aware of what's happening. And then he says, I have no human fears. A slumbered in my spirit sea. I've explained the first line. When a person is lost, thinking about just one thing, the person, other thoughts do not come into the mind. When you're seriously upset about something, when you're very happy about something, for example, your exams are there, you're stressed out, तो आप दूसरी कोई बात सोचते भी नहीं है. कोई कहता होगा खाना खा लो या यहाँ चलो, आप बोलेंगे नहीं, अभी दिमाग बिल्कुल, मेरा एग्जाम सामने है और हम और कोई बात सोच नहीं सकती हूँ. You cannot think about anything else. Exams are there, your interview is there, your presentation is there, like your classes are there, class on your mind. You cannot go out, you cannot do any other thing, but you have to just think about the class. Similarly, when Wordsworth was so much lost somewhere, then he wrote this, a slumber did my spirit see. So this slumber is the meaning of literal meaning of slumber क्या होता है? A deep sleep. लेकिन यहाँ पर sleep नहीं है. He was not sleeping. He was not at all sleeping. He was very much alive, very much aware, and he was, and he knew things. He could think about only one thing,
Excuse
which
me, ma'am.
was
Sorry to-
सिर्फ एक चीज के बारे में सोच रहे थे, and that was that this Lucy, that
Excuse me,
she is
ma'am.
going to be there forever. Yes.
मैम कॉलेज को ये नहीं पता कि आज फेस्टिवल है?
कौन पूछ रहा है? Who's asking?
मैम me, मैम MD असद अली मैम.
Yes.
I'm MD असद अली.
Okay.
Roll number 24.
I know. And Eid Mubarak to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, पता तो है कि आज ईद है. You can take off, and we can discuss this later. But then, for the rest of the class, the class will go on. For the rest of the students, class होगा. बाकी जो लोग festival enjoy कर रहे हैं, wish you all the best and happy Eid Mubarak.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
What I was saying, एक lines लेकर के explain कीजिए. Now I have just talked about just one line. A slumber did my spirit see. So what is my thought? मेरा thought ये है, कहीं भी आप खो जाते तो दूसरा कोई thought आपके पास आप तक नहीं पहुंचता है. कोई दूसरी कोई बात आप सोचना भी नहीं चाहते, because आप एक वन ट्रैक माइंड पे हैं. आपको सिर्फ एक चीज सता रही है और एक चीज में आप इतने डूबे हुए हैं कि बाकी कोई चीज आप नहीं सोच पा रहे. So this is the explanation of a slumber in my spirit scene. But what is the author saying? The author is saying that he was lost somewhere. He was deeply in love, and he could not think about anything else. And he was so much deep in love that he did not know what was happening around him. And the next line he says, "I had no human fear." That she is mortal and she is going to age. All human beings become old, they age, they become sick, and then they die. But the author is he's not even aware of this fact that one day Lucy age is going to affect Lucy. So he's so much lost in his love that he cannot think of anything else. So a slumber did my spirit seal. And the next line, I had no human fear. The author is just not afraid of anything. And what is human fear? The human fear, the greatest of all human fears. सबसे अधिक डर किस बात का होता है? That you are afraid, आपको डर होता है कि आपके अपने आप से अलग ना हो जाए, आपके अपने बिछड़ ना जाए, आपका ये बिछड़ना कहीं, this separation कहीं permanent separation ना हो जाए. Losing a loved one is the greatest fear किसी भी human being के लिए. कोई भी अपनों को खोना नहीं चाहता है. तो ये सबसे बड़ा डर एक human fear था, जिससे भी वो परे हो गया था. He was even not even aware of this fact, and he thought she's going to be there forever. The third line says, reveals it all, that she seemed a thing that could not feel. And the third and the fourth line says that the author had thought that she is never going to die, that the passing of years, year will come, year will go, and the passing of years and decades will happen. Even 10 years, even after 10 years, Lucy will remain young. Lucy is never going to die. So he had thought this. उसमें एक भ्रम था ये कि my love is never going to die. And with so much deep into this passionate love, he feels she will be there for him forever. And as she looks now, she's going to remain there. Just the same. With every passing year, Lucy will not age. Lucy will never die. So this was what he thought earlier. Past tense में सोचा करता था. मैं कहीं दूर कहीं खोया, मैं कहीं बहुत गहरी सोच में था, मैं खो गया था कहीं, और मुझे दुनिया का कोई डर नहीं था. मुझे लगा कि वो एज कभी नहीं करेगी और उसका ब्यूटी हमेशा रहेगा. लव एंड ब्यूटी विल रिमेन फॉरएवर. और गुजरते सालों का उस पर कोई असर नहीं होने वाला है. So this was what he thought in the past. Present scene is quite different. In the present, lots have happened between paragraphs, paragraph 1 and paragraph के two के बीच में बहुत कुछ हो चुका है and कुछ हो जाने के बाद ही ये लिख रहे हैं ये. The author is aware that Lucy is not there, she is no more, and तभी वो बैठ के लिख रहे हैं. And one of the this is probably the last of Lucy love poems. इसके बाद वो उन्होंने लूसी पोएम्स का एक तरह से बंद कर दिया था. So this was the closing poetry of Wordsworth about Lucy. So let us talk about the second stanza. The author is already aware that Lucy is not there, and he says, "No motion has she now, no force." It means there is no movement in her body. She cannot move. She is lying there, cold and dead, unmoving, still. So a person who dies doesn't move. So the poet tries to, he's telling himself, now look at Lucy, she cannot move. No motion has she now, no force. The force which was there, the how active she was when she was alive. The poet compares her with her living status, and now that she's not there, he sees that she is a one unmoving object, and she cannot move her hands and legs. No activity inside. She is not breathing for one reason, that she is there, cold, and she is dead. So she neither, and he's telling himself rather, she neither hears nor sees. She cannot see. She cannot hear. Now the status of a dead person, they cannot move, they cannot see, they cannot hear. For one plain reason, that they are no longer living. So he admits, rather he's telling himself, he is admitting the fact that like everybody else, like every human being, Lucy also has died, and she has reached a final destination. English में अच्छे expressions बहुत ज़्यादा हैं. When you do not want to say she has died or he has died, आप क्या बोलते हैं? They have crossed the rainbow bridge. Very beautiful expression. अगर आप बोलते हैं the person has crossed the rainbow bridge, it means the person is no longer alive. जब rainbow आपने देखा होगा, it is so beautiful, and going beyond the rainbow means आप ऊपर चले गए. So a very beautiful expression आप जान रहे हैं आज in poetry, that Lucy has crossed the rainbow bridge. It means Lucy has died. And then now she is being buried. The author is seeing that she is being buried. उसको दफनाया जा रहा है. Graveyard में rocks है, stones है, and she is being put to rest. So she is lying there, cold, dead, unmoving, and the author is watching her, watching all these activities. And then he says that Lucy, as she was the nature's child, she has gone back to the lap of nature. तो नेचर को क्या नाम रखा था उन्होंने? नेचर का नाम ही था लूसी. So this Lucy was, people say that it was an imaginary name given to nature. Some people, there are difference of opinion. So he says that Lucy's child is Lucy as a child of nature has gone back to Mother Nature, or she is there in the grave, and the author is seeing that she is being buried, and now she is into the normal routine of life, the daily routine, the mornings, the evenings, the afternoons, and then the mornings and the suns and the stars. The daily routine is happening, like recycling. Lucy has recycled, and now she is seen in the rocks and the trees and the stones. So the last two lines: rolled around Earth's diurnal course with rocks and stones and trees. So the author sees her everywhere. He sees her when he looks down at the grave. He sees her there in the grave, the final destination. He sees her there, but he also sees her on the trees. He sees her on the rocks, on the stones. So wherever he can lay his eyes on, जहाँ भी वो देख सकता है, वो हर जगह वो उसी को feel करता है. This is very natural, you know. When you lose somebody in your family, or when you lose, when I lost one of our very, very close friends at a very early age, when she was hardly 20 years old, she died. And then I don't know, it took for me, it took quite a long time to recover, because whenever the phone rang, I was conditioned that she's going to, I would be hearing her voice. And I was so much upset about it, that the very second day of her death, I had called her house just to speak to her, and her father had picked up the phone, and I said, "Can I talk to?" I called out her name, and I talked to her, and then he recognized my voice and said, "Beta, it'll, you already know what has happened. Come over it." And I could not. I still uh, every 2 days, after every 2 days, I used to call her up. I was just believing that she is there, and we are going to talk like we were talking, and then it's bad. So it is very natural that for a person who has died, that the people around, they start feeling her presence, and that everywhere, the with the jingling of the bells, when the bells ring, when somebody speaks, when the chair moves suddenly, when the curtains move, you feel the presence is there. So when you're very much attached to someone, you feel the presence. It happens to everyone. It is nothing new, and these things have been experienced by people. So the second stanza: no motion has she now, no force. She neither hears nor sees, rolled around Earth's diurnal course, with rocks and stones and trees. So this was the last paragraph, and you need to, taking you back to the first stanza, take one line and write a paragraph. What the author says, how you feel about it. So, you know, I'll show you the PPT, so that when you see the pictures, you might be able to write better. I'll share you on WhatsApp. You can see the picture, and then you can write stanzas. Every paragraph for each stanza. Anybody has any questions? BBM batch 2 or batch 1. Anybody who has any question can ask me before I turn to the PowerPoint presentation and explain. Before I send it to you, I will explain things to you. Those who have taken late admission, like Anshu Rani, they were late, they came late. Did you understand the poetry, Anshu? So I'm moving on to the PowerPoint. Yeah.
चाची का सब्जी
Yes.
ठीक है सो जाए
Hello, hello, hello.
Table share, Aman sir.
हो गया मैम
let us read. The poet has expressed his grief over the death of a loved one. Expressed grief का मतलब होता है दुख. The poet has expressed. Elegy है. Elegy means a poem written after the death of a person. So the poet has expressed his grief over the death of a loved one. He says that he had no usual human fears now, as death is the ultimate fear for human beings. So, जैसा कि हमने पहले बताया था, the fear of losing one person, fear of losing a loved one is the ultimate fear. इससे बड़ा और कोई डर नहीं हो सकता है. So this is the ultimate fear of losing close relative or close one. I think we did this in the last class. Yeah. Now he says, as the earth completes its routine, diurnal force के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. As the earth completes its routine of day and night with the rocks, stones, and trees, so does the beloved of the poet now. She has become a part of the nature. The poet concludes her with her afterlife. So afterlife, what has happened to Lucy? That she is being seen everywhere. In the grave, yes, she is there, but she's also seen on the rocks and the trees, and wherever wherever the author can see, he sees Lucy everywhere. So a slumber did my spirit seal a revised argument. With regret, खेद के साथ, दुख के साथ बोल रहे हैं. With regret over the loss of human actions, the speaker manages to accept her death. Earlier क्या था? Earlier he was not accepting. Earlier he was in the mind that she will never age. But now he has accepted the fact that she has died. उन्होंने इस बात को मान लिया. First by having no fear of mortality, पहले से कोई डर नहीं था. And then by developing a broader view of her being one in the universe. He says she will not die, and on the other hand, वो कह रहे हैं कि she is everywhere. So two points are to be noted. He is talking about her death, that she has died. She is not there. She is no more. She is gone forever. And then this thought is developed by the broader view of the poet, that she is now being one in the universe, that she is being seen everywhere. So a slumber did my spirit seal. I had no human fear. She seemed a thing that could not feel the touch of her tears. In the first of the poem's two stanzas, the speaker declares that the slumber has kept him from realizing reality. What was real? What was the reality? He did not accept that. In essence, he has been in a dream-like state. Slumber is not sleep, but in a dream life. It is almost like he was daydreaming. He was awake, he was not sleeping, but he was daydreaming, and he was only daydreaming about his love for Lucy. Devoid of any common fear. Devoid, he did not have any human fear. The daydreaming, the state of being lost in her thought without any fear, devoid of any fear. To the speaker, she seemed like she would never age. So now he says no motion. Earlier he was saying she will never age, but now no motion has she now, no force. So as the poet is watching Lucy, he is continuously looking at her, and he realizes that there is no action. And then with regret, he says that no motion has she now. No motion has she now, no force. There is no activity, as the girl is now dead. The theme line, it is all about the death of a beloved, and poet deposits the remorse over the loss which can never be compensated. So he is talking about this loss, this lost. his loss, what he has lost. His loss cannot be filled with any other thing, cannot be compensated. So, a slumber did my spirit see. A means one. Slumber, deep, permanent sleep, permanent state of unconsciousness. One track, you're in love, so you cannot think about anything else. And did my spirit see? Spirit is a soul, and seal means close. Nothing can happen, nothing can come. The door is closed now. For other और किसी विचार के लिए और किसी थॉट्स के लिए दरवाजे जो सोल के हैं वो बंद हो चुके हैं. Then he cannot think about anything else. So this poem is an elegy. Elegy means some poem written after the death of a loved, of anyone. Poems written after the death of someone, written as a ballad, where the poet is not able to accept the loss of his beloved. Later, after gaining consciousness, after realizing that no, whatever I was thinking was all wrong, it was all illusion, तो पूरा भ्रम था, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता, लेकिन ऐसा हुआ. And now he's trying to tell himself, now he's trying to admit, and all his thoughts are on Lucy still, even that she is not there. Even after knowing this, that she is not there, her thoughts are still with her. And now he sees that she is everywhere. Again, I'm telling you, he is not able to convince himself that Lucy is nowhere. He still feels that Lucy is a nature's child, and nature cannot die. Later, after gaining consciousness, the poet feels the loss of his beloved's life. It is a way of understanding and condoling himself. So he is condoling himself, consoling himself that this has happened. So you better believe this, she is no more. She has just become part of this earth. As she was being buried, उसको दफनाया जा रहा था, so the poet is saying, no, she is gone, and she has just become a part of earth. She was there, her body was there right now, but now she is under the earth, and now she's just become a part of the earth, and now nothing can change that. Now after death, she became a part of nature, and after being buried, after being part of the nature, part of the earth, the author tells himself and puts the final conclusion that now, after death, she has become part of the nature. Another picture, a painting of Lucy, where you see Wordsworth quietly looking over the happenings of her being buried. Very quietly, he is watching, and then Lucy is there with a nature's child, with in the arms or in the lap of the nature, as he calls it. Again, he's thinking about Lucy, and he sees her on the trees, on the swings, और जहाँ भी वो देखते हैं वो लूसी नजर आती है, and young and beautiful as ever, because she died young. So actually, the young face of that girl was always there in her heart, and he just could not forget her face. So he saw her everywhere. The beauty was seen everywhere. So the rocks and the hills and the trees, so wherever his eyes went, whatever he could see, yes, Lucy was everywhere. Again, Lucy seen everywhere, among the flowers, in the spring, in the winter, in the autumn, all the time. So she was there with nature, whether it's summer, winter, autumn, or spring. But yes, every season had Lucy inside. For Wordsworth, so she was there with all her, in all her beauty, in all her compassion, in all her love. She was there everywhere. So. So this was the poem, Lucy. For your assignment, write down for yourself. This assignment is not for me because next day I'll take up another poetry. So this is done. A slumber did my spirit seal. Done. If you have any question, you can come with your questions, which will be answered. And in the next class, we'll take up another poetry. Like we'll take up little learning is a dangerous thing. And what does the author has to say about this? So, otherwise, any questions for this lesson? No question. Me too, Gulshan Kumar. Any question? Vishwajit Kumar, B1. Will not respond, it will be marked absent. B1, roll number 45, no response. Gulshan Kumar, B2, no response.
Yes, ma'am.
एक बार में बोला करिए तो एब्सेंट हो जाइएगा.
Yes, ma'am.
Gulshan Kumar.
Yes, ma'am.
Question है, if you have any question पूछिए. कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है. Ivan Shobit Raj. Mahi Kumari.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Any question? जो लोग yes ma'am नहीं बोल रहे हैं उनका अटेंडेंस नहीं बनेगा.
Yes, ma'am.
Who is this yes ma'am? Mahi Kumari.
Yes, ma'am.
Any question? अगर कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है तो फर्स्ट एक्सप्लेन
Yes,
करके
ma'am.
ठीक है. Let me see what you have understood. Ask. I'm giving you time to ask questions. अंशु रानी, आपका लेट एडमिशन हुआ था, कोई क्वेश्चन आपको? कान मल्होत्रा.
Yes, ma'am.
Any question do you have?
No, ma'am.
Yes?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. Understood everything.
Almost.
Almost means there's something which you have not understood. Ask. Ask. Not understood. Anybody in the class. And you don't have any question to ask, or you think almost. Almost means there's still some doubt. Okay, then take the assignment. Write the story. Write the poetry as slumbered in my spirit seal. In a not in a story, not in a poetry form, but write it in a story form. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Write the 2 stanzas and make it a short story. Fine.
Okay, ma'am.
Do not interfere with the author's thoughts. You can add your own thoughts also, but do not interfere with the technical points, what he is thinking, what has happened, what he felt before, what he is feeling right now. The technical aspects will be the same, but yes, you can add on your own thought. What do you feel about this? Has it ever happened to you, like you were lost somewhere and you could not believe something and something happened and you had to believe? Life is full of stories. You can come up with your own story in literature. You get the liberty to write from your experience. बहुत कुछ आप लिख सकते
Okay, ma'am.
हैं, बहुत कुछ आप बोल सकते हैं. You can add your story, but do not interfere with the author's point of view, right? So take
Okay,
it up
ma'am.
as an assignment. Did you understand the assignment?
Yes, ma'am.
क्या assignment है?
मैम स्टोरी लिखना है मैम इसका मैम दो
हाँ, इसको
टू स्ट्रेंजर्स का मैम.
टेक्निकल पॉइंट्स में इंटरफियर नहीं करना है. आप अपना और जोड़ सकते हैं. अगर आपकी लाइफ में ऐसा हुआ है, आपकी दोस्त की लाइफ में हुआ है, किसी रिश्तेदार की लाइफ में, नॉट
Okay,
एग्जैक्टली
ma'am.
द सेम बट सिमिलर थिंग्स. तो मुझे नहीं लगा था मैं पास करूंगा, लेकिन मैं पास कर गया. तो पहले का क्या थॉट था, अभी क्या था? मुझे नहीं लगा था. आपको क्या लगा था लॉकडाउन इतना लंबा चलेगा क्या? लेकिन नहीं, ऐसा हुआ.
नहीं मैम, नहीं पता था.
ऐसा भी होगा, लेकिन नहीं, ऐसा हुआ. तो लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स आर हैपनिंग जो हमने पहले कभी नहीं सोचा था, लेकिन अभी हम लोग अपना थॉट प्रोसेस चेंज करना पड़ रहा है. घर में इतने दिन से हम लोग बाहर नहीं निकल पा रहे, ऐसा कोई भी नहीं सोचा होगा. एंड लाइफ हैज चेंज, सबके लिए चेंज हो चुका है. तो व्हाट वाज बिफोर, व्हाट इज नाउ. तो बिफोर एंड नाउ में चेंजेस क्या है, इसको भी आप ऐड कर सकते हैं. एनी प्रॉब्लम जो कि पहले नहीं था, अब हो रहा है. कभी अच्छा के लिए भी होता है, कभी बुरा के लिए भी होता है. तो कोरिलेट, make give examples with whatever you are thinking, and but either you